Hey, good morning, everyone. Tuesday, the 3rd, 2018. Getting back to my plants here. Had an issue. Well, I guess I need to check the weather, have some sort of alert sensor. That's not good. So yeah. Luckily, these didn't come up or anything yet. If they were in the process of opening their seed, they're probably dead now. But I have a solution. A 4-cent trash bag. I'm going to open it up, slide this thing in, seal it closed. It's translucent, so you can still see light through it, obviously. And hopefully that'll protect from some of the chill. The wind is the main factor of chill here. So as long as I don't have ice cold air moving across this, I should be okay. It should trap all of the heat to help kind of create a mini dome or what have you, and at least last a little bit through the night. We'll see. If not, it's just a waste of 5 cents and, well, some seeds. There we go. It's as protected as it's going to get right now until I can build some sort of enclosure. Speaking about enclosures, emergency style situation, ran out of room where I needed the plants, so here they live. I transplanted them up to 4-inch pots, and I have it surrounded with one of those nice wooden things Bianca made for me. I tried it first with some garbage bags because the evening was coming, it was very cold, I needed to get it protected. It worked for one night. Then I got this privacy thing from a tent, and I'm just kind of draping it over during the daytime. It lets light through, as you can see, and also protects from the wind. So those are the two main things I'm doing right now. I also have, if you can see back behind there, 2 heat pads, one here and one here. Foolish mistake time. Got this sensor, didn't check that it worked, left it on dusk till dawn for 3 days. It froze last night. Turns out this thing's dead on arrival, doesn't work at all. I recommend you always test your stuff. If you're relying on it for a solution, make sure it works, okay? Got these 2 batteries that are waiting for solar still. They're fully charged and ready to go though, so I just have it drawn off of this tiny inverter, which is then powering the 15-watt draw heating pads. Now, let's talk about mistake time. Has a cost. Look at this poor little fella. Did not appreciate the lack of heat last night. The frost nearly killed it. It looks like this got snapped over past 90 degrees and flattened out, and this is starting to lose life right here. If we were to see the strand and how it goes from thick to thin and has a very limp status, that means it's dead at this point. Luckily, there's still a couple other... Oh wait, no, is that... Well, this thing may have just completely died off. That's unfortunate. Some of these other ones are also not too happy. Like, look at this one here from the frost. Darn it. We have another one, though, which is totally fine with the frost, right? So we're immediately selecting the strong genes, I guess. But I was just doing these for transplanting to sell at a seedling giveaway. So, or not giveaway, seedling exchange, whatever you want to call it. That's a little sad. I'm going to have to modify this system somehow. Maybe, actually make sure that the heaters work. Close these gaps in the side so the ice cold wind can't go through there too much. Or just build something else, because this was extremely temporary. And it looks like now that we have frost here again, I need to get back to seriously solving this problem. Okay, so a huge disappointment or setback has become instead an unexpected, I guess, learning opportunity and species selection. So, if you look at all these plants, you can immediately notice that the middle row look very sad and are pretty much kaput after the frost last night. This row, they didn't even care at all. Now, there's also one back there that's dead, and then one over there that's totally alive, right? Also, the back 2 are totally alive. That one's doing okay. So, what is this exactly? Why is that? I mixed up 2 species in the middle container. They're all beans, so the leaves are a little hard to tell apart in the beginning unless you really pay attention to what you're doing, which I failed to do. I thought I had it, but I mixed in a couple, and so I knew that later on I would have to figure out as they were older what species they actually were and label them correctly. It looks like last night's frost has done the elimination for me. These show absolutely no sign of damage from frost. These are pretty much completely dead from frost. In the middle row, there are 3 plants which show absolutely no damage from frost. That has to be the species that matches this flat over here. Also, that one, and this one have to also be this species. On top of that, of the labeling being done for me, I now have a very clear winner on what I should use around here for this time of year. This one, which I couldn't even tell you the name of. It is, wait, no, it needs to be from this one. 18. I'll look at my notes and tell you what 18 is. 18, Bush Lake 47. Bush Lake 47, Royal Purple Pod, Royal Purple Pod, Royal Purple Pod. This one and that one are doing a little better than this one. Could have to do with the fact that this is on a slope, and if you look at the bottom here, there's tons more water in the base, which essentially acts as a buffer from causing damage. Not to the leaves, though, so I don't know on that one. Don't have enough information to make a call on that. But the clear winner is Bush Lake 47, and Royal Purple Pod is kind of on the fence. I would go with it, honestly, just to see what happens. Awesome. You know, it's really rare that something, not devastating, but to the plants devastating, turns into something positive. So I'm glad that we have got a really valuable lesson here from an unexpected frost or drop in temperature. Awesome. I'd go over like the failure of the enclosure and why it actually caused damage to my plants, because it's an awesome enclosure. It would work for pretty much the rest of the year except this dang frost that popped up, right? So if you see here, there's gaps. I put straw around the front and thought that would be good enough, but the gaps on this side are uncovered because I wasn't comfortable with the straw right by the battery boxes. So that allowed the ice cold air to get in and move around my plants, immediately robbing the leaves of all of their pretty much ability to not be frostbitten and dead. And the soil and water also got frozen. It thawed pretty quickly, but when I first opened it up, the water was a frozen layer on the bottom. So the gaps are a huge flaw. In the future, if you want to make a frost-proof version of this, make sure those are nice and tight together. Or I could have put straw all the way around and moved these boxes back. And I also was only using that cover from the tent and just had it wrapped around. I had these screws here where you can see I pulled the corner of the tent thing to a screw to make it taut. However, when I was out here and the wind was billowing, man, it was going crazy. So there's definitely air getting past it into the system. There's also never any condensation buildup, so it was not airtight whatsoever. Those are the flaws. That's why they died. Update on this little inverted seedling tray. It was losing a ton of moisture. I was having to water it constantly. Only a few seeds were popping up. I then kept it watered way more. Still the same problem. Wind totally killed this thing. We got a bridge effect going here. Over, under wind totally just sucks the moisture right out of this thing. So I got 2 trash bags. I wrapped them over here. This thing has holes in it, right? This is the top layer, so I got some clean socks and a plastic bag and stuffed them in here. It pulls it taut and keeps it tight enough that the moisture is retained. And get this, after I did that like 2 days ago, whoops, look at that. That is a lot of plants coming up. So, if you need a quick seedling tray, I would recommend an inverted shelf, 2 trash bags, plastic stretched over, with some socks stuffed in the corners. Whatever works, right? Sneak a peek in on the other side here. Oh yeah. That's doing great. It even survived the frost last night that killed the other plants. Good to know. Honestly, don't even remember if I made a video that included this thing in it, but I got a shoe organizer, stuffed it full of soil, and transplanted tons of strawberries in it. They're alive. One of them ain't doing too good after last night's frost. That would be this one here in the middle. That one's still doing great. We got one alive there. And if we go all the way over here, I see another one alive right there in the corner. It's not doing too great, but some are alive. All right. This may be kind of an odd contraption, but seems to be working. We'll see if it actually progresses all the way to strawberries, huh? I also just wanted to take a second to touch on being neighborly. My neighbors are awesome. If you watch any of my other videos in length, you'll know this. Larry and his family are amazing. So I was running low on water. He just sent me a text, hey, you need any water? Yep. Then he just shows up later, gives me a full tote of water. I was down to 2 bars on both of these, and he taught me up to 1 full tote, 0.5 totes. A little over half, actually, so 1.6 totes of water. That's what I'm at now. It's nice to have great neighbors. If you can, repay the favor, right? Something else I'm noticing here is that the bulldozer travel has helped establish the local grasses. If we look at the track impression, or how it creates a perfect, basically wave shape, the grass and all the seed is collected in the trough, as well as the moisture. It's really, really pronounced and noticeable. Instant swales created by bulldozer on a mini scale. I think they just happen to be at the right angle or something. Or maybe that's just what happens when you build mini troughs everywhere, and I need to just roll up and down this entire property with the bulldozer, leaving tracks like this. If we go over here to where I didn't do anything at all, where I didn't clear or touch the grasses, where the bulldozer just traveled, you can see that it still made a huge difference. Look at that. Look at all that green in there. Perfect little rows of green grass, very dense. If we compare it to the rest of the desert, this area has a huge concentration of those grasses, and it looks like available moisture. So we'll see what happens, if it made a difference or not. It sure looks to have made one so far. Looks like I get another free air show today, courtesy of the local Air Force program. Wow, that's a really tight follow. You know, most people might like mind this or something. I get a lot of military aircraft coming around these mountains. You'll see them pop up in some of my other videos just randomly, but I love it. But the strawberry that had died is resurrected. Yes! Awesome. Keep going, strawberry. I need lots of you. Hello, goat herd. Nice to see you. Okay, I just want to peek on my sunflower seeds. Last time I was walking through here, there was 2 sprouting, and then I dumped a bunch of water and covered it with this black corrugated thing. Oh yeah. I'd say it's working. This may not be an approved method of sprouting sunflower seeds, but it's hilarious and working. Save the best piece of information for last. All of our crops made it. I pulled up the potatoes. There were roots there. I pulled up the garlic. There's garlic growing. It already has shoots coming up. And on top of that, look at this. Look at those onions. They're doing great. I cannot believe it. Planting them in straight sand with some old age goat manure from next door and covering them with straw. I've done 1 watering all season long so far from since I planted them. That's it. 325 gallons of water. And they're all alive. I am excited. With very little effort, I will be able to grow actual food crops here. What I would call staple crops, you know? Potatoes, onions, garlic. I'm working on the peppers. Ah, that's great news. We'll see how the test completely flushes out later as the spring progresses and summer finally comes and we approach harvest, but if this is any indication, I think it's going to be a great season and work out just fine here. Amazing.